stomp, clap, do whatever you can to show love. Your next artist, Mr. Life.
Is everybody cool? First I want to salute the men of the house. I think it's dope when young brothers really get together and they put something of this magnitude. I've been in Jacksonville a long minute, and I've seen a lot of grown people trying to put something together and don't have this many people come out. So salute everybody here and definitely salute y'all, and I appreciate y'all opening the platform for people to do art and artistry. I ain't gonna get long with it and talk to everybody. Yeah, that's definitely worth clapping for. So I try to be involved in what the elders are doing in the community before I start saying they ain't doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? Some people say so-and-so ain't doing nothing, but you ain't never went to go out and see. So here I was at city council trying to figure out what they was doing for my friends. Because we got a lot of people that get out of jail, they try to get jobs, and it ain't the fact that they want to go back to the street, but if a job ain't afforded to you, a lot of people still got kids to feed. That's just the way it is. So as I'm sitting in there, the only thing I hear them talk about is people pants sagging. I was like, listen, I seen 3/4 of the world. Everybody's pants are sagging. It ain't just us. And a lot of these people have 4.0 grade point averages, so that's not the problem. Let's get beyond that part. And of course, a lot of times we start talking and you don't look the part, because I was in there just like this, of course. And it was like, yeah, well, whatever, we got this, and you can sit down, basically. So it was just that thing, propaganda and propaganda. You know, propaganda is a technique they try to use to confuse you, really. But if you take a propaganda and take a proper look at something, then you can see it for what it really is. Anybody remember Good Times? Yeah. I know some of us was raised on Good Times. Listen, we thought James Evans was the best father in the world. Then when you really think about it, he was borderline abusive. Kids were scared of him, couldn't hold down no job. Let's just keep it on it. We don't know where Thelma came from. He ain't come from James and Florida Evans, all I'm saying. Anyway, so I'm listening to the song before I had bills. You gotta think about the song that played before. Keeping your head above water, making a way if you can. Temporary layoffs, good time. Hold on, that sounds like a good time to anybody with bills. Easy credit rip-offs, good time. Scratching and surviving. Sound like a crackhead. Standing in the child line. Good times. Ain't we lucky we got them. Good times. Wait a minute, as I stare at the J.J. Evans picture, I'm trying to figure out where exactly this good time is. You see, we live in a time where bad things are happening so rapid that it's became the new norm, and the activists who used to be active have become lukewarm, and they're getting hot on nothing unless it's something they can get their publicity stunt on. See, where we come from, we were so content with the humdrum of the slums that while the rest of the folks are reaching for their loaf, we give up and accept the little bread that they give us, and once it's divvied up amongst the bills, we strive to survive here off the crumbs, then find time to antagonize our sons about their pants sagging off their behind. Like that's a bigger issue than the fact that our sons are lagging behind in education, or the fact that the archaic school system lacks imagination and attention from politicians, so it's deficit in the resources. But the recourse is convince your kids they're the ones with attention deficit disorder, over-medicate them till they're sedated, and tell them no child left behind is the same thing as your child moving forward. But when you fast forward a movie, you miss important parts of the presentation. Like how standardized state test scores, no child left behind on a privatized prison system, have a direct correlation to slavery, but they pray that you never get it. They said slavery been over. That's just an excuse. We gave y'all the 13th Amendment, but the 13th Amendment was never intended to end slavery. Just switch up the mission. But word to LeVar Burton, you ain't got to take my word for it. Give me a second, allow me to give y'all the 13th Amendment. Listen. It said neither slavery nor indentured servitude, except as a punishment for a crime where the party is duly convicted, shall exist in the United States in any place subject to the jurisdiction. Right. See, we say real flash, people don't really tend to listen. Let me slow it this time so y'all can really get it. It said neither slavery nor indentured servitude, except as a punishment for a crime whereas a party is duly convicted, shall exist in the United States in any place subject to the jurisdiction. See, when you put the word except to a sentence, that means you ain't trying to end nothing. You just said slavery was cool under this condition. Then you use third grade test scores to determine how many prisons you put in the community. Then you're trying to fool me that we ain't being left behind because you fail, you can pass the class, but you will fail in the test of time because you don't get the proper life skills to hold down a 9 to 5. So you go back, get a loud pack from your man, and get on your grind till you get caught. Then they give you a butthole for the time in court. Put you in chains, bend you over, spread your butt cheeks, show your teeth, and cough. Sound like 12 years of slavery to me. How they gonna say minimum wage is $7.35 an hour and justify giving a man 65 cents a day and they say it's because you state prop? Boy, you sound like livestock. How you gonna be property in the state when the prison system's owned by a private citizen, which means one man is owned by another man? The only time I know that to happen is if one man's a slave. Wait. Let me stop speaking truth to power before I sour some of these fast food dudes' stomach with the soul food. Can't feed the baby steak, might make you regurgitate, vomit, throw both your hands up like you don't want it. So let's get back to the nonsense that keeps everybody in bondage. Listen, you don't need knowledge nor spirituality. As long as you got a smartphone, pair of true religious jeans, fresh pair of J's, you know how to get by, to get over, man, we should just get high and watch the time fly. As long as they keep providing us with their canned goods and coke. So that was where I was in my feelings that day. We still cool, we still rocking. All right, so I know a lot of us. Anybody that was raised by their mama and their mama alone. Oh, this is my house then. Anybody had like an old school mama though, that bust your head to the white meat, that type of mama. She couldn't get to you, she might do one of these. Who you talking to? Get you one? Anybody had that type of mama? Throw the shoe at you? That's my guy, so I know we ain't gonna fight after that, you know what I mean? I had one of them old school mamas, like we ain't had no screen in the front of our screen though. If it was all ripped out, you still had to close the metal part. Anybody had that type of mama? You couldn't run in and out of her house, that type of mama. All right, so they asked me about my mother. I said, and how do you define the undefinable? I mean, Maya Angelou attempted to do it when she wrote the poem Phenomenal, but I'd have to say for my mama that I add just a little bit more. You see, she raised me in a household where she said, if you ain't paying no rent around here, you better not be locking no doors. And little boy, when grown folks is talking, you better close your mouth. And when I walk out the front door, I don't care who come knocking. Don't you have nobody in this house. And what goes on in this house,
stays in this house.
Okay. I see y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about my mama who stood in the place of my father and told me to honor them both even if he didn't. No child support, no birthday presents, and he never got me nothing for Christmas, but I never heard her utter a bad word about him. She just said when you get older, that's when you can make your decision, but right now you better stay in the child's position. I'm talking about mama who didn't spare the rod to spoil the child. When I stepped out of line, she made me go outside and pick my own switches. My mama who said church was not an option, Jesus was the only way, and if I ever got on the stage and forgot what to say, just tell them that I ain't came to laugh, I ain't came to play. All I came to say was, Happy Easter Day. I'm talking about mama who didn't buy me these high-dollar clothes when I was younger because we just couldn't afford them. So when she bought my pants, she bought them longer, put hems in them. When I got taller, she let my hems out so they wouldn't be high waters. In the summer months, she cut the legs off my pants and made them shorts for me. My mama who said when the sun's outside shining, kids need to go outside and play, even if you got to play alone. But your behind better be back in this house when them street lights come on. I'm talking about mama who taught me my respect would get me further than $1, so she never allowed me to talk to grown folks without saying yes sir or yes ma'am. She told me blood was thicker than water. You put your family in front of your friends, and if they talked about Jesus, who in the world do I think I am? My mama, my great sacrificial lamb that exception to the rule that a woman can't raise a man, because I know it's because of the sacrifices on her own life. Those double shift, back-breaking, heart-aching long nights that I can stand. Amen. You still rocking? So I'm a product of that environment. A lot of times you hear all the time, people always say, oh, a woman can't raise a man. Listen, if you're a woman and you don't got a son, it's your responsibility to raise him. You put the foundation down and make sure he's receptive to the man that's going to walk in his life and add bricks to him. I was raised by my mom. I don't have no feminine tendencies. I stand up the right way because she built me off respect. And when a man came in my life, I knew how to deal with those situations. So that's just another one of those things that people try to tell you to keep you behind. Is it the way that it should be? No, but if it's the way that it is, you got to deal with what we got in front of us. So we got to stop letting people speak them type of things over us, you know what I'm saying? Oh, my guys in the back, what's up, sir? So, I'm going to do this one and then I think I'm going to praise. Is that cool? I can do one more? Yeah. So, a lot of times people want you to speak. When you're speaking all around the world, people want to stop and make sure you're in the right suit and all that. I don't tend to do that because I want you to see me the way that y'all see us all the time and walk by us like we don't exist. I want you to go ahead and get the first misconception of what's happening. So while I stepped on the stage, the lady says, well, life, make sure you get back to that hood stuff tomorrow. So naturally I got offended because that's where I'm from. It don't matter where I'm at now, it's just where I came from. So you just disrespected everybody that I know in my life. And these people that I grew up with have been keeping me safe for 20 years after I left my house. So being from the hood ain't one of those things you should shun all the time. Sometimes you try to make sure that you don't have none of that odor on you. You don't look that way after you make it out. But I don't understand that because we got a lot of beauty where we from. We got a lot of real things that happen. Everything I learned from the struggle is kept me alive once I made it out of the struggle. So you got to start embracing those things. But the lady says, well, get back to this hood stuff tomorrow. And I'm looking at her like, you probably ain't never came to the hood. Like, do you know what's happening over here? You talking about tomorrow? I got friends that probably died tonight. You talking about get back to this hood stuff tomorrow. Listen, I don't say this all the time. I've been practicing war for 20 years. I got more friends dead on my block than I know in 13 years of war. So when you talk to me, you got to understand we live in a war zone every day. Every day somebody can get Jacksonville the same way. So when I get on the stage and they say get back to hood stuff tomorrow, it's so offensive that I'm still upset right now. This is who I am. This is who we are. If you come from that, embrace it, and then learn from it, then let's do better. Let's connect. If we can take penitentiary and casket chances to make it on our day-to-day lives, it ain't nothing you can't do in business. They ain't gonna jump across the desk at us. They ain't gonna kill us, but once we figure out how to link up, we ain't gonna have no more issues. But I'm gonna get off the soapbox. She said, "Life, get back to that hood stuff tomorrow." And I said, dang, but what if tomorrow never comes? And the things that I say on the stage of my last will and statements to our sons, I ask for the statements help to raise the young, or will this be disregarded as jargon spitting by artists who was simply waiting for his day to come? But what if my days was never intended? And the sole purpose of my life was to write the final life sentence. I wonder, would I waste my time in ignorance trying to convince you all that I'm brilliant? Or would I sincerely write something that might genuinely help to affect our children? I tell them that we're the products of our environment, poorly educated through a neglected school system. We are the victims of broken homes, the illegitimate children of teenage mothers and deadbeat daddies who are rolling stones. We're the indigenous habits of the ghetto American slums, where every day you can watch the American dream become the ghetto's nightmare, because we live right there off the Martin Luther Kings, but every day you can watch your dreams get shot and buried in the dirt. So you can accurately answer Langston Hughes' question of what happens to our dreams deferred. Our dreams got pushed to the curb to serve fiends, since we got taught by older G's to y'all. It's the real world, B. Ain't nobody got time for dream to get caught out here sleeping and you shot. You see, they told me that was one of 3 ways out the ghetto. The other 2 is you can sling crack rock, or you got a wicked jump shot. So if your crossover ain't nice, you better meet me on the block, because see, my mom's was strung out, my little sister ain't eat for days. So what does that benefit me to sit in the classroom to learn that I ain't nothing but a descendant of a slave? 8 hours in the class, I'm trying to score hundreds on the grade, but I could get hundreds off this corner if I could just score a big 8. I mean, how do you stand down to man-child that's trying to balance out his moral obligations against his hunger pains? I mean, how do you stand down to man-child that's trying to balance out his rights against his wrongs when he seen right didn't always end right, because all of his life he's watched his moms trying to live right, but right left him with the lights off, 5 days eating egg and rice on a cold project floor. Wrong. But he seen his wrongs, got it right. Got his kicks and his gear tight. His wrongs cut on his light and put food on his plate. He did wrong trying to make right for his moms because his pops had been gone. So what do you say to the boy that's been standing in a man's place? You're misplaced. We are in a state of emergency. I need you to emergency that we are the victims of psychological terrorism. Way before 9/11 and the FEMA disposition, we've been willing listening to the bondage of Reaganomics. They pump crack in our communities so the children can rationalize what right and wrong is. They pump crack into a starving community like, here's the key. These are the keys that unlock you from your bondage. See, they funding our children's crimes. They make more prisons in the school system because they know it's money in our demise, and now they handing out football numbers like they ain't concerned for time. So boys go in, men come out. And now you're looking for a job, but equal opportunity employers don't hire fella until you federally disenfranchised. But if you still got mouths to feed, I guess it's back to the grind. The cycle never completes. When we go open our eyes, I mean, what if tomorrow never comes? And the things that I say on the stage of my last will and statements to our sons, I tell them the deck has been set up against us, and growing up in the ghetto is hard. But what could be against us if we're the descendants of the Most High God? I mean, what if tomorrow never comes? And the things that I say on the stage of my last will and statements to our sons, I tell them we are the descendants of slaves. But anybody who tries to degrade you, I tell you lesson for that. You can tell them to their face, they liars. Because you being a descendant of slaves just means your ancestors had to go through some fires. And if you're still standing, it means you came from a family of survivors. I mean, what if tomorrow never comes? And the things that I say on the stage of my last will and statements to our sons, I tell them you ain't got to watch Empire to learn how to ball. Because if you reaching for the Most High, it's nothing to live amongst the stars. I mean, what if tomorrow never comes? And my sole purpose in life is the right to fly the life sentence. What would I tell our children? Our children that's been this type of pressure for as long as they've been alive. I tell them pressure can bust pipes, or pressure can make diamonds. But eventually, we got to choose to shine. Peace and blessings.
I told a joke. That's all a joke. Ladies and gentlemen, I want y'all to act like y'all just heard some dope fight on the stage. Give it up one time for Mr. Life coming through. Give it up one time for your DJ tonight, Mr. DJ EAZ.